Let's do a couple that are a little bit harder. Right, so here on these, I should have more carries. That's what makes them a little bit harder. So now base is regular base 10. So 8 plus 4 is 12. So you write a 2 here and put a 1 there. And then 1 plus 2 is 3, and you add a 1, and you get a 4. Right? So 18 plus 24 is 42. Now we do this base 5. So 4 plus 3. So I come here. I know it's 7 things, but I can't represent 7 things with a 7 because I only have the numerals 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And so what I have is a 4 plus 3, and that's a 12. So I write a 2 here, and I carry the 1. I have 4 plus 3 again, which again, 4 plus 3 is a 12. And then when you add 1, you get to 13. And so I have 1 and a 3. And I write a little 5 down there to tell everybody this is actually base 5. Again, this is easy to check because what this represents is 2 1s, 3 5s, and 1 25. Right? So if you have a 25 plus 3 5s, so 25 plus 15, which is 40, and you add 2, you get 42. So that is correct. Over here, you have, add zeros. So I get a 0. I guess I should probably pull up that table. So let's pull up the table so you can see it. Okay, so I add zeros, I get zeros. If I add 0 and a 1, you can check over here. A 0 and a 1 is a 1. A 0 and a 0 is a 0. So I put a 0 there. Then a 1 plus 0 is a 1, and a 1 plus 1 is a 10. So I put a 10 there. And I write a little 2 down there. All right, so 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0. And so this number base 2 should represent 42 things. All right, finally we want to get to multiplication. And multiplication is a lot tougher because it involves repeated addition. But the same algorithm that we use for base 10, we normally multiply, will work for base 5 or base 2. So let's walk through this and see how this works. So in base 10, 7 times 3 is 21. So I'd write a 1 here, and I'd write a 2 there. And then 7 times 2 is 14, and I add a 2, so I get 16. So 23 times 7 is 161. Now when I do this base 5, I'm going to have to take a look at the base 5 multiplication table. And so 3 times 2, now I know it represents 6 things, but again, I can't use 6. I can only use 0 through 4 because I'm in base 5. And so I look down here, I see 3 times 2, and that's 11. And so I write down a 1, and I carry the 1. And then 2 times 4, I use the base 5 multiplication table. 2 times 4 is a 13. If you add 1 to 13, you get 14. And so I write down 14. As long as I don't hit the 5, I'm going to be all right. All right. Then I write a 0 here. And then 1 times 3 is just going to be a 3. You can consult the table down here. And then 1 times a 4 is a 4. And I add the columns, so I get a 1. 4 plus 3, well, 4 plus 3 is 12. So I get a 2. And I carry the 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. And then 2 plus a 4 is 11. So I get 11 there. And so I have 1, 1, and 2, 1, base 5. And you can check this to see if it works right. This is 1 thing, 2 5s, 1 25, and this turns out to be 1 125s. And you can check to see that you actually get 161. For the binary, let's do the binary. So let me pull up the binary table here so we can see it. Get rid of that. For the binary, it's just 1 times 1 is 1 and 0 times 1 is 0. So I have 1 times 1, which is a 1. 1 times 1, which is a 1. 1 times 1, which is a 1. Then I get a 0 and a 1. Right? It's almost just copying it down. Then I put a 0, and again, I'm multiplying everything by 1. So in this sense, I'm just copying it down again. I'm just shifting it over one spot. So I get a 1, a 1, a 1, a 0, and a 1. And then one more time, so 0, 0. And then I get a 1, a 1, a 1, a 0, and a 1. Right. Then I add up the columns. So the way I add up the columns, I have 1 plus 0. You can look over here. 1 plus 0 is 1. Plus 0 is still 1. 1 plus 1 is 10, so I'm going to carry that 1 right here. So I'm going to carry the 1. And then plus 0 is 0. Now 1 plus 1, again, I'm going to carry the 10, right? The idea of 1 plus 1 is 10, so I get a 1 here. And then 1 plus 1, again, I'm going to carry it, so I get a 1 here. And I write a 0 here. Right? It's like I have 10, so I carry the 1. I have another 10, I carry the 1. And then I do it again. Right? So 1 plus 1, again, that's a 10, so I carry the 1. 1 plus 1, another 10, so I carry the 1. And so I write a 0 here. And 1 plus 1, again, carry the 1, because that's a 10. 1 plus 1, again, carry the 1, because that's a 10, so I get a 0 there. Keep going. 1 plus 1, that's a 10, so carry the 1. Then I have 1 plus 0, which is 1. And then 1 plus 1, which is that 10. 1, 0. And this is all base 2. And so I get 1, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1. Base 2. All right, let's look at the next one. All right, so the next one, we have 24 times 11. Okay, so 1 times 4 is that's our normal base 10 numeral system. So 1 times 4 is 4, 1 times 2 is 2. Then I write a 0, 1 times 4 is 4, 1 times 2 is 2. And I add the columns, right? 0 plus 4 is 4, 4 plus 2 is 6, and then I get a 2 here. So that's 264 things, and you can check it with your calculator. And then we want to do this base 5. So again, I look at the base 5 multiplication table, and so 4 times a 1 is just like how you'd like it to be, 4. And 4 times a 1 is a 4. Then I write a 0, and then here's what I have to be careful, okay? Because 2 times 4 I know is 8 things, but 8 things I can't use the numeral 8 because I can only use 0 through 4. So I look for 2 times 4, and it's 13. So I write a 3, and I carry the 1. And then again, 2 times 4, you can look again, it's still going to be 13. And when you add 1 to 13, you get 14. And as long as you don't cross that 5 threshold, you'll be just fine. Then we add them together. So 4 plus 0 things is still 4 things. 4 plus 3, now this is where you cross that threshold, so you have to be careful. So 4 plus 3 things is 12 things. Base 5, right? So it's all base 5. And then I carry the 1. 1 plus 4, right? I know this is supposed to be 5 things, but I can't write down a 5 again because I don't have a numeral 5 that I can use. I can only use 0 through 4. So I look here, 4 plus 1, I get 10. So I put a 0, and then I carry the 1. Then 1 plus 1 should be 2, right? 1 plus 1 is 2. And so what I get, 2, 0, 2, 4, base 5. Right, and if you think about this one's easy to check, right? This is 4 1s, this is 2 5s, 0 25s, and 2 125s. So this is actually 250 things. This represents 10 things, so that's 260, and that's 4 things, so you get 264. So it's easy to check.